spectacular, but that's okay. That's all good. What am I looking at right now? I guess I stay in. It's like, kind of feels like Master League and Ultra League. Hey everyone, I hope the new season's treating you well. I wrapped up 100 battles in my first few days of Go Battle League this season. I had a 70% win rate, which is not too bad, not amazing either, but I think the team I ran was quite a lot of fun. I had a lot of play overall into a lot of team comps. I say the majority of my losses were more due to the fact that I just misplayed rather than the actual team composition. But overall, I think a really underrated pick for this cup is Giratina Origin form. A lot of people are running Giratina Altered, but I ran Giratina Origin with a Registeel and a Lucario in the back. Lucario is an interesting pick. It is quite frail, but with that Shadow Ball, you are able to close out a lot of matchups, especially against the Ghost and even Tapu Fini in the back. But you do kind of have to shield quite a bit to keep it healthy and useful in the back end. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. So I'm going to go kind of chronological in terms of my battles. So obviously I'm not going to show all 100 battles, but I'll pick in the timeline of when I was playing out these matchups. So Steelix in the lead is pretty brutal for the Giratina Origin just because it's so bulky. But against Escavalier here, it's not a terrible matchup. I believe I could win the zero shield situation. But I'm going to choose the shield here to potentially force a shield from them. And I'm going to go for another Zap Cannon here. This will debuff so that I could easily farm down. Unfortunately, I don't get the debuff. And it looks like my opponent tried to get greedy there, but was not able to reach it. And I was able to get to one more Focus Blast to force out that last shield, which is pretty nice for me. They actually throw Acid Spray there. Not really sure why. I personally wouldn't recommend it, just because I could clear debuff. Maybe they thought they could get to a drill run, but unfortunately they weren't able to. Oh, what's up, girl? She don't like the Acid Spray either. But yeah, here's where that Shadow Ball really comes in handy. And this is the biggest difference between this and Escavalier, is having that Shadow Ball access gives you really solid coverage against a lot of the Charmers, against the Ghosts, and just a hard hitting move. And as you see, my opponent is going to concede right there. So even if they didn't land the acid, they threw a drill run, it wouldn't have made a huge difference at least. Alright, going into this matchup here, we do have a pretty positive lead for the most part. If they are running Flash Cannon, they do win this much more convincingly, but most are carrying that Zap Cannon combination. Either way, I just don't shield, and I try to finish it off with the Giratina, or I'll finish it off with either my Registeel or Lucario, depending on the health remaining on the Registeel. If they're running Zap Cannon, you could easily come in with your own Registeel and farm down with lock-ons. But if they are shielding twice or running Flash Cannon, you probably have to come in with the Lucario. That being said, this time around, they are running Zap Cannon. So they're going to finish me off here. But we are able to get a decent amount of farm here. And my opponent actually pivots straight away to this Giratina. So I personally like to stay in here. Unfortunately, we don't get a debuff. But main reason being, it takes pretty much 2 Shadow Balls to take out this Giratina, and you're going to take a lot of Shadow Claw damage in the process. And they still have a shield, and if they shield it, then you're in a really tough spot. So I'd rather stay in here. My guess is their back-end matchups either a Tapu Fini, which is a very common team, Registeel, Giratina, Tapu Fini, super common in this meta, or something that's a harder counter to Registeel. Either way, I'm in a better spot just staying in here, in my opinion. So they're going to continue to throw some moves. I'm going to swap out here, even if this doesn't knock me out, because I'm going to get farmed down afterward, and I could just no-shield this. See what they come in with here, and it is the Tapu Fini, as expected. I'm actually going to go Power Punch here. Main reason being, you need to land a Power Punch before throwing the Shadow Ball, otherwise the Shadow Ball's not enough. But they end up shielding it, which works out perfectly in my favor. I am able to counter down, and unfortunately not enough to finish off the Giratina, but I have a little bit energy left, and we are able to get this Focus Blast off. So pretty huge here. Still having 2 shields remaining too, against a very meta team. Alright, Escavalier. This is a pretty nice one just because you're resisting the counter damage, and they actually come in Tapu Fini. So I'm actually going to swap out here after building up some energy. Main reason being, you have a very positive matchup with this Registeel anyway, so I don't really need to have too much energy here. These Surfs and Water Guns are definitely going to still add up though. So I am going to throw the first one. They are going to shield, but I should be able to hang out and get another one off. Looks like Cheggy is out of here. Our timers are slightly misaligned, which means that they are able to catch on their Escavalier, but that's okay, because now I could come in with my Giratina here and throw an Ominous Wind. It's not enough to take him out. Oh, well, but the Shadow Claw afterward is, so that's pretty nice. So they didn't really get any moves off here, and they actually come in with their own Giratina. This is very solid for me, because this is very strong into my Lucario. I am just going to stay in this matchup. And then they actually catch with the Tapu Fini, which again, not too bad, because now my Lucario has a much easier time. And it looks like, yeah, I'm going to shield this just to ensure I get this Ominous Wind off. Oh no, I banked the move instead. Yeah, okay, I like this play in retrospect even more so, because now I'm going to win CMP against their Giratina, and then also I'm going to get to Shadow Ball beforehand, and they either shield this, and they let the next Shadow Ball go through, or they let that one go. I think they realized at that point that they were not going to win that match. Tapu Fini, this is actually not too bad. Typically speaking, I like to stay in here and shield the potential Moonblast. Almost all of them bait with Surf, but once in a while you get a Moonblast, and letting that go is pretty brutal. You're already in a very positive matchup, even if they are baiting with Surf, because the Shadow Claw damage, look at that Shadow Claw damage, doing a ton of damage. They're forced to shield, and my Giratina is so healthy in the back end. So they actually have a Lucario here. I typically like to go straight for the Focus Blast. Zapkin is also a possibility, but they're down to shield, so they might not shield it. And if they shield, then they're fine, because I guarantee I knock out this Lucario either way. I'd much rather just guarantee the knockout rather than risk playing around and throwing a Zap Cannon. Also, Zap Cannon's not even guaranteed debuff at this point, so what's the point there, right? Alright, so unfortunately I don't get a move off there, but what I'm going to do here instead is soak up this damage with the Zap Cannon, and then come in with my Lucario. Yeah, okay, I guess I come in Lucario here. Maybe I didn't want them to overfarm too much. I don't know. Okay, no, I just let the Focus Blast go through. Alright, not really sure what I'm planning here. Oh, the Tapu Fini still has energy. So yeah, so I rather just spend their energy there. And that's fine. They catch on the Tapu Fini, so that means that they don't get their move off. Now I have to make a shield bait here, and luckily I don't shield the baits. And I'm going to throw this Ominous Wind. Yeah, if a Zap Cannon would have taken me out. So that's pretty close battle. I think maybe I could have played it a little better, but either way, we walk away with the win there. All right, this is a pretty solid matchup for the most part. You have to watch out for the Shadow Ball, of course. They actually, I was going to throw on CMP there, but they actually catch on the Registeel, so that's kind of nice. And again, I like to whittle this down a little bit, because Lucario does have to shield the Registeel, so I am going to let this potential Zap Cannon go through. Yep, here comes Zap Cannon. Now I come in Lucario, and then I go Power Punch right away. My attack will be boosted here, and we are able to finish the Registeel because of that, which is pretty nice. And then they had to come in Lucario into this, which is not ideal for them. They do throw a Shadow Ball though, so that was a good call by them. Actually, I didn't expect that, but that was definitely the right call. And then now they come in with their own Giratina. So this is actually kind of a mirror team, except just in a different order. But we are going to shield up here, because my Giratina definitely wants to get some damage off here, because Giratina Origin is definitely a very solid check to that Registeel. I'm gonna no shield here, I think. Yeah, and they throw Ominous Wind, which is very nice for me, mainly because you could tank a Shadow Ball either way, and I kind of want to save my shield for my own Giratina just in case I need it, especially against that Lucario on the back. I don't want it to get to a Shadow Ball, right, and then take me out. All right, I'm gonna throw this Focus Blast before I take any extra damage, and then now I'm gonna swap to my own Giratina and Shadow Claw down. Alright, Giratina Altered. This is kind of an interesting one. It's not a best matchup here. I like to try to catch the potential Dragon Claw. As you can see, I tried doing it there. Unfortunately, it did not work, but that's okay. Alright, and then they come in Berserker. Again, kind of a weird situation where, like, do you really want to debuff? They're probably going to shield anyway, but I prefer just go straight for the Focus Blast in case they no shield. And on top of that, also, Close Combat's just a little, or Focus Blast just a little bit less energy, so you get off potentially one more Focus Blast than you would otherwise. And it looks like our switch timers are coming up soon, so I expect maybe a potential combo play here. Yeah, and that's exactly what happens. But I am going to anticipate it and catch the Dragon Claw here. Yeah, I guess it wasn't a true combo play because they didn't have a no, actually no, they should have Shadow Sneak ready. Maybe they have Shadow Force on it. I don't know. Well, let's see. I guess we'll see based on this. And yeah, they maybe have Shadow Force. That's why they didn't throw the energy right away. I don't know. But either way, we have energy on Lucario now. And this is very nice for me because it's just going to be a Scizor, and we're going to resist all those moves. I threw the Shadow Ball right away because if they catch it on the Berserker, that's fine. We always take out Berserker, and that's fine too. Yeah. End up just taking out this Scizor here, and then we get to the Focus Blast. So pretty narrow victory there, but I think a lot of maneuvering back and forth can come in handy, especially in Ultra League. Shout out Dragonite. This is not a fun one because it's pretty good into both the Lucario and the Giratina, but you kind of have to swap to your only counter right off the bat, otherwise you just lose. So I'm going to shield this potential superpower. Does a lot of damage. And now they come in with... I actually didn't see what they came in with. Oh, Giratina. Okay, so that's not great. We do get debuff right off the bat, though, so that's nice. Yeah. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, we get another debuff. Pretty nice. And once in a while, these are running Shadow Force, which honestly, for this cup, is actually not a bad idea. I've messed around about how bad, or I've joked about how bad Shadow Force is in the past, but for this cup, I can't judge. I've lost to quite a few Shadow Force Giratinas. And my opponent is going to swap back out here. And I believe this is just a Dragon Claw, which I should be able to hang on if that's the case. And we get to the Zap Cannon, but I press the Focus Blast out of panic. But that's fine. We still get a shield, which is quite nice for me. And then now I'm going to farm up here. I'm going to respect the potential superpower, and then just overfarm a little bit here. Actually, honestly, I probably could have farmed a little bit more, but it's okay. I just really want to get rid of that Dragonite, and I figure if I throw the move right away, they're more likely to, not do anything about it. All right, so they try to snipe me with their Giratina or catch a move. Unfortunately, it does not work. And now we're in a very good spot because we potentially get a shield with a Shadow Ball here, and then we have a Shadow Ball loaded on the Lucario. And because of that, we should be able to win the game unless there's some actual error on the switch-in. But no, game was performing as it should be, and we get the Shadow Ball off to take out the Empoleon. So Dragonite leads pretty rough, but overall still not too bad. Galarian Weezing, I'm not playing this match out as I want to. I think ideally you want to throw a Shadow Ball or potentially bait a Shadow Ball and then swap to your Registeel. I just swap right away, which is much worse in my opinion. But let's see what happens. They come in with their own Registeel. Yeah, so I think that's the play. Force them to maybe catch an overheat or catch a play rough. Either way, force them to throw energy and save your shields. Essentially, you really need shields for this Galarian Weezing in the back because your two checks are not that great. That being said, we do take out the Registeel, so there's that going for me. And then now the Galarian Weezing comes back in, so I'm thinking, all right, maybe there's a shot here. I hate shielding this, but the Zapkin damage is very, very solid here. And now that they're debuffing themselves, my Giratina has a decent amount of play. They're going to be quadruple debuffed. Technically, it could be 5 times debuff, but you can't get to 5 times, so quadruple debuff essentially. They do snipe me down with a Flygon, which is really unfortunate because I had a Focus Blast ready, but I just didn't throw it. And I try to catch our Earth Power. Let's see if I do. And we do catch Earth Power, which is quite solid. I get Defense Drop though, which is not great. And I'm going to get outpaced by this Flygon too. They know it, which is why they're over farming here because they know that I'm not at the Shadow Ball. Really great plays by my opponent actually here. But yeah, this is very tough for me. I think we CMP here, but they could just shield until the Earth Power. And that's exactly what they do. Honestly, even if they don't shield that, they can finish me off with the Galarian Weezing. Yeah, so Galarian Weezing, definitely kind of a harder one to deal with. I think it is manageable. I've been able to beat a few. In the lead, it's kind of tough. Alright, Giratina Origin. This is also a weird one because the Origin beats everything in the back end. I thought they would shield for sure because I'm thinking, alright, I could just go straight Ominous Wind here. But my opponent is going to go Ominous Wind, and I probably shouldn't have thrown my move. Instead, I'm forced to double shield, so that's not a great spot to be in. We do get a little bit extra energy here, though, on the Registeel, which is kind of nice. I expect there to be something to potentially beat my Registeel and Lucario, so got to draw it out with my Registeel, as expected. But yeah, we're in a kind of a tough spot, and they do throw right before they get another move off. So this is a little tricky because they still have a shield. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball here. Hopefully it lands, and it does, so that's pretty big for me. And it looks like we CMP on that one. Unfortunately, I was kind of losing track of counts there, so not great. Although, if I didn't throw, I probably don't survive anyway, the counters. And unfortunately, this is where Lucario kind of lacks. With shields down, Lucario is very, very weak to Registeel, and I'm going to get finished off there. So great plays from my opponent. Unfortunately, did not play the best out in the mirror lead myself, but it does happen. Yeah, that's pretty much a mirror team outside of Escavalier for my Lucario. But either way, Alolan Sandslash, not a great lead, but you're very, very good to it in the back end with the Registeel and Lucario. Lucario even better. I do not get these Acid Spray Escavaliers. I really don't know why that's a thing. If someone can enlighten me on it, please do, because I feel like it's so risky and you just don't get much value out of it. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Anyway, they're going to throw more drill runs here, and that's fine. But yeah, they're just forced to go down 2 shields there, right, and take a lot of damage in the process. They throw another Acid Spray. I don't get it. I really don't. Especially in this situation, because I can swap out, right? You never really want to throw Acid Spray in a situation with a clear debuff. But either way, we do have Lucario versus Giratina, which is not the best matchup. But again, you need 2 Shadow Balls to take it out. And I'm going to shield. Shadow Sneak is going to do a good chunk of damage. I'm going to shield just because I want to be able to get even just 1 or 2 counters worth of damage on the Sandslash would be valuable. So that's why I'm not over farming, because I don't want to take any more Shadow Claw damage. I just want to force the Sandslash to throw their energy and also take super effective counters. I think I got 1 counter through, maybe 2, but honestly, drawing the energy from the Sandshrew is pretty solid in itself. And then now, as long as I live 1 Ice Punch, I should be okay. And we do, and we can Shadow Claw down. Yeah, so not a great matchup where I didn't have switch advantage at any point in time, but you just got to chip away and be okay there. All right, we're going to Granbull here. This is going to be pretty solid for my Registeel. Unfortunately, they catch on their Giratina Origin. This is not great for me, so I'm going to shield a potential Shadow Ball because I want the next few Shadow Balls to do a little bit less damage. Hopefully get debuffs. If not, we're in trouble. And we do get another debuff, so that's quite nice. And we get another one off too. I think they called on the Granbull. No, okay, that's not until later, I think. Yeah, now here comes the Granbull. Yeah, I do remember this matchup. They come with Granbull here, which is quite nice for me. So now I'm gonna pivot out here. I'm gonna farm a little extra. What do I do here? Do I just Shadow Call this down? It is Charm. Yeah, I just Shadow Call down because I don't think it gets another move. I don't know who wins CMP here or not, but it looks like they do. So I'm gonna shield. Not a great shield maybe, but I didn't know who's going to win CMP, and I really just need to take out the Giratina somehow. Now we are putting it in a range where it is kind of getting low, and they actually come in with a Thunder, or Thunder Fangs. Is it Thunder Fangs? Fire Fang, Thunder Fang? Yeah, Thunder Fang, Steelix. Weird position for that for sure, but much better than my Lucario, but we were able to farm it down and finish off the Giratina. Overall, this team was a lot of fun. Honestly, this whole meta is a lot of fun. I think a lot of things have to play into each other, so definitely a great job to Niantic on building this specific meta. Unfortunately, we only have a few days left. Personally, I wish we were back on 2-week meta rotations, but that's a story for a different day. I actually have another team coming for you all for Fantasy Cup, so stay tuned tomorrow because it's going to be another one. This one's even better than this team, in my opinion. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time.